Hey guys, GWS here. I just want to air this out a little bit, get this off my mind. Um, there's something really disturbing that I've kind of been building up to throughout the past day pertaining to big tech companies and tech censorship. Now, as you all know, this is kind of a big topic, especially on the right, and I've actually been on the left wing of this. Like on Discord, on various other social media platforms, my whole position was and always has been get over it with the tech censorship. Get over it because the fact is like all of it comes off as super whiny. Like you are you're whining about a free market. These companies have the right to decide what content is on their platforms. And if they don't want right wingers on there, that's their right. Um, and if you look at examples of right wing startups like Gab and Minds.com, like these are companies that are trying to go away from that. And that was my position. And it's like I said, there's a part of me that still has that position. But I think overall, I've just kind of flipped this morning. Um, and one of the big things was when I heard of what happened to Carl, Carl Benjamin, Sargon of Akkad, in the UK. Having his, because I guess he's running to represent UKIP in the UK, which is kind of like a third party. It's similar to our Libertarian Party in the United States. Um, um, his campaign page gets banned from Twitter, and then now you got UKIP all in a fuss. Not just Sargon, but this is all of UKIP. Their social media account on Twitter goes off on Twitter for basically election tampering. Um, and then you're hearing more and more. Now you have the stuff with Louder with Crowder, getting three strikes in one day over a parody. His whole channel is comedy. That's what he does is comedy, and it's just Then you had the Tim Pool interview with Twitter, um, where they say but don't say that they're discriminating against conservative opinions, and it's like I said, like there's a part of me that's considers that whining, but then I went back to Politicon, and then just by chance I found a segment from the Tucker Carlson and Cenk Uygur discussion at Politicon. Tucker Carlson talking about how companies have too much power, more than they've ever had. I think it's overblown, like what he's saying. Like, I don't think it's as extreme, but the question must be asked. Like, um, and this goes back to Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt, um, in the 1900s, early 1900s, like 19, what was it, 1908 or 1904 to 1912 or whatever it was, he was president. Um, he was a big time capitalist. Um, but where he started to become concerned was um, companies that had historic relationships with the government that became too powerful and were basically feeding back money into the government. Um, he was concerned about this with the coal industry and with, I believe, Stanley Morgan. It was the whole question of like, and this is the big question when you're talking about um, any company's presence being harmful. The question I've always believed you ask is this: Does the existence of this company is the existence of this company so necessary that if it were to be demolished, it would inflict severe or even moderate measurable economic harm? One company, if it folds, will do this. And another thing that you kind of got to ask too, alongside that, is um, are the services this company provides such that if this service were denied to a person, that they would be crippled from performing some fundamental capacity um, that meets modern Western standards. So that is basically, in this case, here's what you got to ask. You have a campaign, an actual political party, a major political party in the United Kingdom, having candidates banned from social media. Does this inflict harm on Carl Benjamin's ability to um, win in any primary or whatever system they have there for deciding who represents UKIP? Um, does Twitter do severe harm to that? Is it a case where he can use alternate media? Um, and I think we're getting very close to the point where, especially with the collusion of big tech, it's getting to the point where things are going to have to start being broken up. Um, Google in particular would need to be broken up. Twitter, I don't know. I think it may just be better to have a shakeup of all the social media, to be honest, because it's getting to the point where it's going to start doing harm. And then when you have big companies like this controlling nations, um, that's a big problem. And see, here's the thing, and this is a big Teddy Roosevelt thing too, is that you want free enterprise, you want laissez-faire economics, you want all these things. But it's important to realize that we don't serve these companies. They serve us. That's the whole point of laissez-faire. You have hierarchies of competition, and this competition drives these companies to have to compete for who serves people the best. And that's the whole thing. And when it gets to a point where the companies are no longer serving the people, the question has to be asked, like, should we as a country um, allow this situation to continue? And it's a delicate thing because you don't want to mess with free enterprise. You don't typically want large amounts of government involvement in the marketplace. That's true. But you have to play that balance with, does the existence of this company, are its actions truly in the service of either people or the economy or just some aspect? Basically, the big thing is we don't serve them. Like, um, you know, our free market is not a suicide note. That's, I guess, another way to put it too. Like, free market, but we're not gonna completely kill ourselves just for the free market. Like, there's a point where you gotta mix things up, and I think it's, like I said, it's to that point where we're going to need to start talking about social media breakups big time, because you have certain companies just becoming way too powerful, eating up other smaller companies, as Google is doing, It's like I don't think a lot of people realize this, but Google does not make a profit. What Google is a pool of investment. Its services do not profit. YouTube does not profit. Google search does not profit. None of these things profit. But the reason they're still able to remain in business is because they have a platform for investors, and investors will come to Google to get a piece of this gigantic search engine media giant, so that maybe their other ventures can be profitable. Um, the other adventures of these investors. There could be other motivations. It just could be some pet project. It could be something for some kind of massive future profit or control. But the bottom line is there are serious problems that we're going to have to talk about solving, because it's becoming a fundamental. It's not just speech. Like, if this were just about speech, I'd say shut up, quit whining. They can allow all this speech. But it's about just this whole influence, monetary control, etc. So, if these companies don't start cooling it with the conservative bias, then, we're going to have to start having some very uncomfortable discussions in the future. Anyhow, thanks for listening, guys, and God bless.